The OWN network is putting up a fight here. I don't know, they've been doing real good this summer. And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I want to put my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie? Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. This is actually going to be my review for a new series called Queen Sugar that's actually on the OWN network. And I don't know, OWN is doing pretty good here. Now, we done went from Greenleaf. Now we're going to do Queen Sugar. Queen Sugar this is really good. I'm liking this. Now, this is the premiere, which is actually 2 episodes, and they actually did it in 2 different nights. But I'm going to review 1 and 2 all in one video. Hopefully it won't get too long, but it just really needs to go together because it's getting ready to take off into more stuff. So I just want to go ahead and cover everything from these first 2 episodes together because they kind of work together, and I can see from the previews going forward that it's getting ready to really spin all the way out of control. So, Queen Sugar. Okay, so we got 3 siblings. We have Nova, which is she's the one sister. I don't know where, as far as age wise, where she actually falls in at, but for some reason, I'm kind of thinking that Charlie is the oldest, and then Nova, and then Ralph Angel. But let's just start with Nova. Nova is an earthy chick. She's very into holistic healing and treatment. She's very dreaded pretty girl, shabby chic fashion sense, very no nonsense, very headstrong. She reminds me of the daughter that would be the most like the father, if you know what I mean. She would have all of the father because she has that hard, tough outer shell. So she's probably like the daughter that probably should have been a boy. But no type of lesbian type of thing like that. But just that daughter, that daughter that the father would love, that's like his, you know, she's more like one of the boys. That's like her exterior. Now, Miss Nova, of course, got a little mess with her. She like I said, she does the whole holistic living thing. She also does a little bit of weed selling as well, okay, where she lives. And that kind of thing. Another thing she has is an undercover white lover. Okay. So she has this really cute little white guy that she deals with who is absolutely in love with her. And she is just so real about the situation of how they're not. Everybody knows the whole interracial dating thing. So she kind of keeps it a secret. Um, that whole kind of thing. She keeps him a secret, but I think it's more so on her part than on his. Um, and getting the comments, did I see him? Did it look like he actually had another family too? Is he married as well? So I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, so that's Nova. And I love that name, Nova. And it actually fits her. It literally fits her. She's also a writer as well. She's a writer for, I think it's like a local news, like a smaller local newspaper where she's from. So, cool. I'm down with Nova. Okay, next is Charlie. Yeah, yeah, Charlie. Nah. Let's talk about Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel, and I love his name too. Ralph Angel is the brother, and I believe he's the youngest. Um, and they didn't actually say. I'm just actually taking this from just watching their interactions. I'm thinking Ralph Angel is the youngest. Ralph Angel is just trouble. He's just a trouble. He's a brat. He is been coddled. Um, where both of the sisters have actually turned out to be something. Ralph Angel basically is not shit. He has had his bouts with wayward lifestyle, wayward women. He has a child, cute little boy that's about kindergarten, first grade age, little boy named Blue. And the grandfather, which is actually played by Glenn Turman, um, who actually just loves him to pieces, and the grandfather basically raises him. Then we actually have Aunt Vi and her boyfriend, who actually helps a lot with Pap raising Blue. And Ralph Angel is just kind of there, just kind of, he just got out of jail. He has like 6 months out of jail, and he's just kind of trying to feel his way, but he's still doing wrong shit. When we first see him, he literally has little Blue at the park. Bad decisions, okay? You got the baby. You got the baby, and you put the baby in the park, and you tell him to sit on a bench and watch the people play basketball. You go across the street and rob the convenience store. Just the fuck up. And then you run around the corner. You rob the convenience store. You run out and run around the corner. And they've actually said, and that was the one thing the girl said, I seen your face. I seen your face, because he showed her the gun and shit and all that. So I'm thinking that's going to come back to bite your ass later, and I'll be sitting here waiting. But he left the baby, and he ran around the corner. Baby ain't paying no attention. He's doing what his dad told him to. He's a good little boy. Well, by the time he finally came back around, everybody was going out the park except for the little boy. Now, remember, I just told you he's young. He's a very young little boy. He's about 7. About six. I don't even think he's 7. He might be 5 or 6. I'm thinking he's more kindergarten age. Smart as hell, but I think he's more kindergarten age. And I'm looking and I'm saying, are you a fucking idiot? I mean, because just how he was sitting there, somebody could have snatched him. See, Ralph Angel's an asshole, so he's not even thinking somebody's going to snatch him. You think he's safe because you left him in the park with a bunch of people, but everybody was gone. Like literally, everybody, all the kids, everybody was gone, and this baby's there. And I'm saying nobody thought that was strange. The baby was there by something, whatever. Anyway, but this is Ralph Angel. This is who he is. It just goes to show you he's just a street ass. They handle this baby with such care that one of the things you see, he has a little doll named Kenya. It's a Barbie doll. He plays with a Barbie doll. These are the type, and it's funny because they're older. Pap and Aunt Vi are older, but they don't stifle and get all caught up in it. He literally has this Barbie doll. Kenya's this, that, thing, and the other. She's his friend. That's like his favorite toy. And you see different points where Ralph Angel's like, he takes Kenya off of him, but not a forceful taking off of. It's just kind of like, he just don't have the sense of like, this is how the world is, and we don't really get bent about shit like that anymore. Ralph Angel is just street. But not sickening. It's kind of weird, but that whole thing. So we got that going on. Let's talk about Charlie, which is the daughter who actually is married to Davis West, which is a basketball player. He's actually captain of the team, and she's really well off. She looks different. Um, I clocked that right away. She is more fair skinned, and yeah, she has a completely different look than her brother and her sister. And we found out in episode 2, she has a different mother. Okay, so here's that whole thing. So I don't know where all that falls in. I'm sure we're going to find that out later. So, all in all, through this first episode, like I said, they're just basically showing the characters and introducing you to them. So we found out also Pat actually has a job, like a regular job. He has a farm. The farm he hasn't worked the farm in like 2 years. Having some financial problems. He has a regular job. His kids don't even know that he actually has this job. I believe Ralph Angel knows, but the girls don't know. They don't know he's struggling. Charlie actually was in this whole thing where she was like saying, I'll send you some money. And he's like, no, 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 no. Real proud. Real proud. Don't want anything from her. But what he did was he wants her to visit him. And he made that very clear. He wanted her to visit him. And very interesting. Very interesting. But anyway, so and we also, we have an actor playing. We have Glenn Turman is actually playing Pat. He's the father, and shall we go way back? I am actually friends with Glenn Turman's daughter, so I was so happy to actually see him. It's amazing to me that Glenn Turman is actually still looking as well as he looks and working. I mean, straight up working. If you don't know who Glenn Turman is, go look it up. Trust me, his resume is a mile long. It goes way back. And some of you younger folks, a different world. He was the professor at the college that actually was the math teacher to Dwayne Wayne that actually ended up marrying Jaleesa. That's probably where some of my people my age would actually know, and a little younger would know Glenn Turman from. But trust me, his track record goes back a whole lot further than that. But yeah, so I was glad to see Mr. Turman in this, and he did a wonderful job. But I'm getting ready to tell you, they got rid of him right in the first goddamn episode. They were having a birthday party for Little Blue. Glenn Turman, he passes out. He passes out, and he ends up passing away. But it just showed you how close he was. All he wanted, remember he wanted to see Charlie, but he wanted to see that baby. He wanted to see that baby. And Ralph Angel's he's bullheaded. He didn't want the baby coming to the hospital because he didn't want him to see it with the tubes and all this stuff like this. And Pap held on. And after he brought him in there, he brought that baby in there. He came in there. He put that baby up in his daddy, in the bed with his daddy. That baby laid his head on his chest. He rubbed that baby, put his hand on that baby, and a tear dropped out of his eyes, baby. And then he was fine after that. He went on home. I said, it was just too much. It was just too much. And I'm telling you, the acting and everything in this is dead spot on. But he went on home after he seen that baby. He was waiting to see that baby. It was too much. It was too much. So that's all going on. Back where Charlie's from, everything's good for her. She is like a son that's about 15 or so. Everything with them is good. But then there's this scandal going on. And all in the midst of this, while the father's sick and all this stuff, at the same time, there's this scandal going on. And there's like 4 or 5 teammates that have gotten into trouble. Something about raping this Caucasian woman. You all know the story, honey. So they go through all of that. Davis, Charlie's husband is like, yeah, this is just a mess. We probably gonna have to move. This kind of thing. I wanted to get another championship ring instead of the other. Just staying out of it. Well, right in the midst of it, after they're like being all supportive of the teammates and this, that, and the other, and on and on and on, they're sitting at a basketball game, and a video comes out while they're at the basketball game, and her son has it on his phone, and he's looking, and she's looking, and it actually shows footage, like the hall video of from the hotel, and shows good old Davis that picked the girl up and then slung her over his shoulder, patting her on the back, carrying on. The girl looked kind of incoherent, guilty as a motherfucker. And this scene was too much. Then we actually see Charlie literally, she got up out of the stands, heels and all, clean as a motherfucker, heels and all, walked out onto the court. And he's like, "You doing what?" Cussed his motherfucking ass out and gave him a little bit of pop, 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 buddy, out there. I'm thinking to him, "You're a liar. What did you do? What did you do?" It was just too much. Acted perfectly. It was acted perfectly. I was like, "Oh, this is too much." So you got that going on. Then her dad is dying. She don't know about it. Then you actually see her, she's like all secluded, got herself in the bedroom. The Aunt Vi, then called, told the son, "You need to get your mother home immediately." Well, she didn't actually make it. They got there and he was gone. So she's all broke up. So that's where the first episode really pretty much ended. So we coming on in to the second one. We start to see the dynamic between the three siblings. Ralph Angel and Nova are kind of here, and Charlie's kind of here. You can see her trying to fit in, but they're kind of like standoffish of her a little bit. And the thing is, I was trying to see what was I picking up, because it was like a little tension with Nova. Because again, I told you she's kind of a hard ass. So I'm saying, is Charlie really a bitch? Does she floss and because she has money? Is that the issue? But she really is not. She's just trying to do what she can do, and they don't want her to do anything because she's been so busy with her life. She hasn't really been around. So I think Nova was kind of trying to like punish her for that. Like, here you come. You know what I mean? And it really showed when they went to the Undertaker to actually make the arrangements. And it was like a whole battle back and forth. Of course, Ralph Angel has no money. Nova tells them it's no problem, because when we got Charlie, she said there, she's like, "Well, it doesn't matter what it costs. I have it." And they're like, "No, no, 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 no. This, that, thing, and the other." And they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. She's like, "Well, here, I have 3 different cards. You could put it on all 3, separate out through these cards," which meant you really couldn't afford it because you were like trying to piece the shit together. Kind of situation. But she really wasn't flossing. Charlie was just trying to help. And Ralph Angel done got all in his feelings. He's over there talking, "Are y'all going to just really act like I'm not here?" Motherfucker, you don't have no money. So don't nobody need to be saying nothing to you with your cute ass. You ain't got no money. Sit over there and shut up. Broke motherfuckers don't have conversation. Cash on sight will keep down the fight. Hirsch. So they end up it was like this whole thing, but actually Nova's the one that made it a whole thing. Charlie was just trying to just pay it and get moving. So they went from that, and things were kind of tight. But she said, "Fine, put half on my card, take the other half," because she even had said, "I'll pay Ralph Angel's part." No, a mess. She said, "Put half of it on my card, put the other half, spread it out over her cards, no problem." So then they go and pick out the casket, and all 3 are saying something different. I said, "Oh boy, here we go." But then Nova was talking about the white casket and why they should use the white casket. And you can see that it was really, that was her, that's her realm. She's very spiritual and all of that. So that's really her realm. They backed up and they let her have it her way. And then they were like, she started thinking it should be a white casket. They just left it alone. Both of them left it alone. I said, no, that's what I'm talking about. Work together. You see what that's all about? That ain't it, that right there. She got that right there, and I was good with that. They just let her go. You know what I mean? And she explained, he came into the light, and he's the king, and he needs to go back out in the light. That white casket would be the white casket. Nobody fought, nobody, or they were like, hey, boom, do it, give her the white casket. And she came out, she had herbs and a silk bag, and she said, I want these sewn into the lining of the coffin. Hey, Undertaker gonna sit over there and talk about, oh, now we're really upstanding, bound Christians, and we don't get into that kind of thing, baby. And then Ralph Angel told her, if she wants them sewn into the casket, you let her have it. I said, come on. So she got what she wanted, and they went ahead. She did it right. They were like, she split the satin, and Charlie came over and held it, and they did it together. She opened it, put the herbs in there, and sewed it. She held it. She sewed it back. I said, "Now there we go." So you know me, waterhead, honey. I was done. I was done there for a minute. I was like, all right. So they got all that together. All of that was cool. Um, and just when you thought everything was kind of going pretty cool, all of a sudden there was this little strange little section where this guy shows up. This Samuel Landry, this white man, shows up to I thought it'd be best to make you an offer. They ain't even had the funeral or nothing yet. And here they come to making an offer on the land and all that. And Charlie ran their ass on off from there. And he told him, Alvin, just give me a call when you're ready. Yeah, so I'm sure there's going to be some more with them. But she ran his ass right on up out of there. Then she sees some other little letters and things. And there was this other guy named Remy Newell. And he is actually kind of like, she thought that he was actually going to be like he was a friend of their dad's. So she was thinking he was their dad's age, but he's not. He really is a young guy that's probably right around Charlie and them's age. And he just was really, really close with their dad. He was kind of, I guess, like a second dad to him kind of situation. He looked up to him, and she met him. And right away, there is a chemistry between Remy and Charlie, and you couldn't even miss it. Like, she wasn't trying to do nothing sideways, and I don't believe he was either, but it was like, it was there. You just couldn't mistake it. But anyway, they were talking a little bit. Naturally, he knows more about Pap and all that than Charlie, so they need to talk. And she mentioned Samuel Landry's name. He shut the conversation down real fast. They were in a diner. Shut it down real fast, gave her his number, said, no, we need to talk, but not right now. After everything's done, you give me a call and we'll talk. So there's some shit with that Mr. Landry character, and I'm sure that'll come later on. I can't wait to see what that's all about. Okay, so the whole time they're there doing all of this stuff, getting ready for the funeral and all that, Davis has been trying to get in touch with them because he don't even know where they are. He didn't even know that the father had died or none of that stuff. So the son finally answers the phone and he tells him, and he ends up showing up, which didn't do anything but just add to the drama, because Charlie really didn't want him there. But they're going to push on through it. So there's going to be more to come with that situation. There was another little blow up between Nova and Charlie. Charlie had actually ordered some tables and linens, nice linens and things to be set up outside for the repast after the funeral. And Nova had a fit. Had a fit. And again, Charlie was not flossing. She's not flossing. She was just trying to do something. I mean, because they kept cutting her out of everything. She was just trying to do something. And Nova just went all the way off, told her, we fix a, a meal for people who are grieving with our own hands, and we serve it to them with our own hands. We don't pay nobody to come in here and have white folks serving them and this, that, and the other. And we don't pay our respects with American Express. I was like, girl, first of all, you're giving a little hateration, I think. T, yeah, I think you hating a little bit, boo, and you going over the deep end a little bit. So they had that little thing. She told them, you get them people out of that yard right now. And I was like, okay, so she like end up calling the people off. She's like, all I was trying to do is just, lighten the load, and the people, they know what they're doing. They'll come and they'll serve. She's like, cussed her out. Whatever. So that was that. That little thing blew up. Then that kind of triggered some stuff with Aunt Vi, because now with that going, their mother was already gone. Their daddy is now gone. Aunt Vi's like, I'm all by myself. She's having a moment. And then her boyfriend had came, and he's young. He's a little bit younger than her. And there was this whole thing where she was saying, I know it's only going to be a matter of time before Ralph Angel actually comes and takes Blue away from us. And she's like, you're so good with Blue, and I know that you want children, and I can't have children, and you shouldn't waste time with me. You need to move on or whatever. And he told her, I'm fine right where I'm at. I'm where I want to be, and leave that shit alone, and you are not by yourself. See, we likes that boyfriend. That boyfriend is all right. He really is. He's all right. Because I thought they were already married. But he's just a boyfriend. But he's a good one. So I was like, keep him. So, speaking of that, Ralph Angel. Okay. See, Ralph Angel, he's really trifling, in a sense. Just being lucky, but he's trifling. The school teacher, the baby's teacher, Blue's teacher, was there when Pop-Pop got sick. And she ended up basically keeping Blue for like 2 days, when all that was going on and all of this. Blue's mother is actually a recovering addict, and she's trying to get her shit together. And there was this whole little situation where Ralph Angel didn't want Blue to go to the funeral. He said he don't need to be at funerals. Vi was saying, how Ralph Angel just doesn't listen to her, and he combats everything that she says. And her boyfriend said, you gotta let him be the father to the baby. You can't fight him. It is his baby. Whatever mistakes he makes, you gotta let him make them, because that is his baby. And she's like, but he just doesn't even listen to me, And she told him, she's like, he needs to go to the service with us. He needs to be able to have closure and say his final goodbyes to his pap and have the closure just like the rest of us. He's like, he does not need to be around death and funerals and dead people and all of that and cemeteries and graves. She's like, honey, coddling children does not help. Your father coddled you, and you see how that turned out. Well, of course, he jumped right in his feelings. Well, what does that mean? She said, you know what I mean. You're running around in a world, now you're lost in a world that's not coddling you anymore. I said, girl, you better say it, honey. You had better say it. So all that went on. Anyway, so he went so far as he wouldn't even allow the mother to see him. He tried to get the baby's teacher to keep him again. Who the fuck calls and asks the goddamn teacher to be the babysitter? But she said, she had a class that she teaches. She is like a second job, so she wouldn't be able to do it. And she's kind of sweet on Ralph Angel, honey, because Ralph Angel is cute with his dark self. Cute little thing. But she been flirting at him a little bit. And she said, if I could, I would. So he ended up breaking all the way down to calling the mother. Not the crackhead. She already trying to get herself together. She had been begging to see the baby. He wouldn't let her. She actually has a job, and she's trying to really do the right thing. So she's like, I won't mess up. Of course, something came up. She couldn't get off work. Her boss was just a jackass and told her, if you try to leave, ain't no need to never come back. So she ended up being very late, and she ended up coming to the funeral and actually getting the baby. It was like midway through the funeral. Child, that goddamn Ralph Angel was jumping up. He was getting ready to get her ass together. And that's when Aunt Vi's boyfriend told her, this is not the time. Because the baby jumped right up off his lap and ran to her, because he hadn't seen, his mother. You know how kids are. And she just quiet. She didn't do anything. She quietly took the baby and stood in the back, baby. Even and then also in the background, good old Miss Nova, her man, showed up at the funeral too. He just quietly was in the back. I asked the call, yes, white man, you better do it. Loving her, honey. He loves her. Period. But yeah, so that was that. And I did now see I'm going to be out of order because I'm going to be done with this. I've been talking for 30 minutes. But baby, let me tell you something. Y'all heard me say that Ralph Angel is pretty goddamn sharp. That motherfucker was in, the whole family was in all white. All of the siblings and the Aunt Vi and her boy, all of the immediate family were in all white. That goddamn Ralph Angel was so goddamn clean and all this white. And he's darker than me. Baby, he was so motherfucking good. I said, oh, yes, indeed, honey. Okay, see, and I'm getting down off my soapbox, but I'm bump, and I'm moving on, honey. It was a damn funeral, but goddamn, he was sharp and all that goddamn white. I couldn't take it. But anyway, so that was basically it. That's all that we basically had at this episode. And the thing that got me, because I bust out in tears at the end, because they were all sitting there and they were doing, the ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And you seen the formation of the family, honey. They have their little differences and they got their shit going on. But when you looked at them, sitting in the middle is Nova. She first reached her hand over and took Charlie's hand. And then she reached her hand over and she grabbed Ralph Angel's hand. And that's it. That's their family, baby. That's their family. And that's how their family's going to get down. They're going to have their shit. They're going to battle. Their asses is going to battle. But I believe that all in all, they always going to come back together in that formation. Child, it was too much. It was too much. This is going to be good. This is going to be very, very good. And it is very Oprah. I can imagine why Oprah loved this so much. That Ava DuVernay girl, you did this. You did this. And I know I'm going to love this. So prepare. We will be definitely following this series. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.